Hello everybody, I'm Jill and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I've been dealing with some personal stuff, but I'm back to it now. I'm super excited. I've been working on quite a few cases and I'm going to start recording them now, and I'm hoping to upload 2 or 3 a week for my channel. If you are new, we do true crime, current events on this channel. I wanted to really say thank you to all 1,000 plus subscribers that I have. I'm so excited that you guys have taken a chance on me and you're so interactive with your comments and everything you do for my channel. And I love that. I love that so much. So thank you very much for doing that. And if you're new, I hope that you will give my channel a chance and maybe give this video a thumbs up. Follow me, please. Join my channel. It's free. And get into the discussion with me because I really, really like that a whole lot when you guys do that, because you're all so smart. You have such different points, and I like to see the different views that people have, you know, compared to my view and each other's views. So it's a really cool place to talk to others about cases. So I hope that you're going to enjoy the case today. It is about the Freckle face killer, and this is a case that has haunted me for a very long time, I think since it happened. And there's some updates on it, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this is the case of the Freckle face killer. And this is about a boy named Eric Smith, who was 13 years old at the time the crime was committed. And it's also about a little boy named Derek Roby, and he was murdered by 13-year-old Eric Smith. So it was August 2nd, 1993. Little Derek was getting ready to go to his summer camp. He was 4 years old at the time. His mother had an 18-month-old baby at the time, and the baby was very fussy that day. So Derek told his mom, Mom, can I just walk to summer camp? And the mom was like, okay. She said that it was right up the street, not even like a block down, I believe. He didn't have to cross roads. He didn't have to, cross major intersections. Literally, he walked right up the street to his little summer camp. Mom said that he said, "I love you, Mom." And he skipped off holding his lunch that his mom had prepared for that day off to camp. Well, on another side of the city was Eric Smith. Eric Smith was 13 years old. Eric Smith was going to camp that day as well. However, Eric Smith never got to go to camp that day because Eric Smith recalls that he was upset with his mother that day because his mother was going on a doctor's appointment. And Eric wanted to go with his mother. But his mother said, "No, you're not going to come with me. You're going to your camp, your summer camp." So Eric Smith rode his bike to his summer camp, where the summer camp wasn't quite open yet. So Eric Smith began to ram his bike into the volunteers' area where they were checking kids in. And he rammed his bike. And the volunteers tried to correct him, from ramming his bike. And he got upset and left. Now, he does say that he was in a very bad mood that day. He was already mad because he couldn't go with his mother. He was mad that he got to summer camp and that he wasn't allowed in. He obviously had some anger that day, built up anger. And he will later recall that, yes, he was very angry and mad that day that this deadly encounter took place. So that day, Eric was not in camp. I don't know if they just dismissed people, I guess, back in 93, said just go home and leave. They probably just wanted to get rid of him because he had some anger issues and things like that. So they told him to leave. Well, what happened next is the most tragic story that I've heard of. Little Derek was walking down the sidewalk. Eric sees him walking. Eric's riding on his bike. He proceeds to approach Derek and tells Derek that he has a shortcut for him to camp. Little Derek, being 4, this is an older, an older boy, and a lot of times little boys look up to older boys. He followed him. He believed him. Eric led Derek into the woods, where he proceeded to strike him with a rock over and over. He said that he then strangled him. He also said that he took a stick and sodomized him. He also took a stick and tried to poke it into little Derek's eyes because he said he was still breathing and he thought that that might kill him. He also then proceeded to take Derek's lunch and take the Kool-Aid that his mother had packed for him and pour the red Kool-Aid into Derek's wounds. The police would say that he had fun with the body after he killed little Derek. Then he placed him in a wooded area and left to go home. Now, Derek's mother said she had heard some thundering and lightning, so she went to go to camp. I think this was at 11 o'clock to pick up her baby boy, where they told her he had never arrived to camp that day. Of course, she was frantic. Where was her little boy? So let me tell you, the whole neighborhood was frantic. This little boy was known in the city. He played t-ball. It was said that he was very friendly. Everybody knew this little boy. So they all are frantic. They have their kids. They're scared. There's somebody going around taking kids, and they're gone. So it took them 4 hours to locate little Derek's body in the woods. They found his shoes off. They found him, and it was apparent that they thought someone had staged the body, is what they thought. They thought there was a crazy lunatic out, killing little kids. And they immediately looked for an older person. It never dawned on them that possibly another child may have done this. And I don't know if they would have ever found who did it, but Eric did eventually confess to the crime. So the whole town is in an uproar, when they were looking for the little boy and then after they found him. So Eric apparently goes to a family friend and he says, what would happen if this was another child that did this to this little boy? And the family friend said, well, I would think that this person needed a lot of help. So the family friend starts asking all these questions, well, what would happen to them if they did this? What would they do to the person? And she calls Eric's mother and she says, I think he knows something. Basically, he's asking some weird questions. I think he knows something. So the friend convinces Eric's mother to take him to the police station, that he may have seen something or seen this little boy. So the mother does take him to the police station. And at first, he doesn't confess. He says that, he didn't have anything to do with it. But then eventually, he gives a full confession. And the officer that interviewed Eric said that Eric was very happy to talk about what happened. And he would go on. And it seemed like he enjoyed confessing to this crime. Okay, so here is the confession that Eric Smith gave police. It is graphic. He goes into detail about what he did. And so I'm just going to paraphrase what he said. Basically, he said that he was riding his bike and he was really angry. He had a lot of anger in him because he was kicked out or asked to leave the summer program because of his behavior. He saw little Derek walking and he said he was just really mad and angry. He said he offered him a shortcut through the woods. He said he attacked him. He stuffed a paper towel down his throat from his lunch that his mother had packed him. He strangled, punched, and beat him with a rock. He sodomized Derek, with a stick. He said after that his heart was still beating. So he knew what he was doing. He said, so then he still started to beat him. And he tried sticking a stick into his eyes and chest. Then he sodomized him. Then he placed his body in a pile of rocks and returned to the rec center, and then later rode his bike around town. So Eric Smith told police that he became a bully. He said he was bullied throughout school for his freckles and his big glasses and his red hair. He said he was bullied by other children, and then he turned into the bully himself whenever he took little Derek. They also said that he claims his father abused him verbally and psychologically. And so that was kind of the excuse he had for what he had done. Well, they go through the trial, and they sentence him and try him as an adult. They sentence him at 9 years to life in prison. Eric apparently was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder, and that is where you just go into a rage of just explosive behavior. They're saying he was diagnosed with this. Smith would come up 9 times for parole and be denied. One time he came up for parole and he was asked a question of, if you had not confessed to the crime, would you have gone on to hurt other people? And he said yes. He said if he had not confessed and been put in prison, he would have killed again. Obviously, that is quite disturbing. He remained in prison and was not paroled until recently. So on February 1st, 2022, Eric Smith walked out of prison a free man. So keep in mind that little Derek's parents had to go in to these parole hearings every 2 years and tell and relive the violence and the horrific way that Eric took their son's life. Every 2 years, they've been going in and writing letters and speaking to have him stay in prison. And they are not happy about his release, but they said in a way it sets them free from having to go in every 2 years and relive their little boy's death, against the murder that Eric is. They said that they understand that they want to take a chance on him. They don't support his release, but they said, they did push for laws of legislation so that victims of violent offenders don't have to go in every 2 years and relive this. They want to make it every 5 years. Because honestly, isn't that just harder on the parents and the victims to have to come in every 2 years and relive this awful, awful thing that has happened to you? I can't imagine how terrible to go in and retell that story that you sent your son off in the morning to a camp that he never arrived at. I mean, can you imagine? That's horrific. Why? If you were convicted, he confessed, is someone having to come in every 2 years and retell this story? Anyways, that's what they're saying about it. Of course, they're traumatized and they don't believe he should be out, but they're sick of going there every 2 years and retelling their story and reliving it. I imagine that just for a month or longer, you would just be so depressed and sad knowing that this is coming up. And they also said his probation would come up at Christmas time every year. So not only are they dealing with the holidays without their baby, they're having to go and keep this murderer in prison. So, maybe they said they can move on now. So Eric has told the parole board that he has a fiance, and his fiance had reached out to him in prison, and she was studying to be an attorney, and she had reached out to him because she was doing a paper on children that were incarcerated. So they eventually have gotten engaged now. He said he wants a degree in crusade evangelism. Apparently he's found God and he's a changed man through therapy and religion. I hear that story a lot, in people that have done horrific things and want to say that they're rehabilitated and they're going to be better and getting out of prison. I pray that that's the truth for him, but I don't know. When I think about this case, I look at Eric and I do see a child that is different. He looks different. He's got red hair and these freckles and these big glasses. But I see a lot of kids that have red hair and glasses and freckles. And I see a lot of kids that probably do get picked on a little bit for looking or sounding with a speech problem different. But what I don't see is kids that go out and lure 4-year-old boys into a woods and just basically torture them. That's not normal. And his excuse for saying he became the bully that he was bullied by. He was never bullied to that extent. He was never bullied to where he's taken out to the woods and, sodomized with a stick. I don't know if I buy that excuse from him. I think that it's something way deeper. And I think that it is a gamble, that he is out and about. I don't know if you can reform somebody from torturing another human being in that way. It's just not normal. And I don't think that he will ever be a normal individual. I don't think that he will ever be in society and become a normal person. I think he's always going to need a lot of mental help, a lot of support, and he's always going to need someone looking over him nonstop. And I don't think that that's going to happen. I think he is paroled and he will have to check in and things like that, but he's out there. And who's to say if he doesn't get mad again or get that anger inside him again and get so angry that he wants to hurt another person. I don't know. To me, it's a gamble. I pray that he is a better person, that he is able to resist his urges and his anger and take it out on other people. I hope that poor little Derek Roby's family doesn't have to sit up at night wondering if he's doing this to another child. And I hope that they were right in paroling him. But nevertheless, he is out and he is going on with his life. And I hope that I never hear ever another case where he has hurt anyone else. So, what do you guys think? What do you think about this? Have you ever heard of this case? Do you think that he should be out on parole? Do you think that 28 years is enough time for him to have changed? Do you think that he could possibly have been a serial killer? Or do you think this was just one act of violence and he will never be violent again? Please leave me your comments and opinions down below. I really want to hear what you have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching another video. I will be back very soon with another true crime video. Until then, I hope that you all have an amazing day. Get out, do something nice for yourself. Remember, you matter, you count, and you are needed in this world very much. I'll see you next time.